You guys want to know what's on the shelf above me? And of course, if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, leave a comment, I'll engage with y'all, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I have a shelf above me, and it has a lot of stuff on it. And I'm going to show you guys what it all is, so here we go. So first off, not at all comic book related. Well, somewhat. I have this Hasbro Shockwave here. It is the, obviously I have the comic book there on the wall as a CGC 9.8. You saw my poster before I changed this wall out here of this. This is the action figure of the actual comic book here. It is pretty cool. It just got released in July of this year, July of 2024. So I managed to pick this up because Shockwave is my favorite Decepticon. This cover is my favorite issue of the series. I love Transformers, and yeah, so this is up on the shelf. Everything else I'm about to show you is comic book related. So just keeping it with Marvel, and also just getting rid of something else that I've already talked about on here, is that I don't have a good spot for this just as of yet, but here's my X-Men number 64. I just talked about this in a few videos ago. First appearance of Sunfire, I just won this at an auction. Yeah, I still love this book. I still love staring at it. It is a gorgeous cover. Again, first appearance of Sunfire, great X-Men book. So yeah, this is up there. I have a bit of affliction for the Black Widow as well from Marvel. So here is Marvel graphic novel number 61. Honestly, the story is pretty decent. This may be one of the ugliest depictions of Black Widow. I've always found it to be a little strange. Painting over it, I forget who the artist is. I'll just make a comment down below. But yeah, it's just a pretty neat graphic novel, and it's always, I like the watercolored Avengers fighting in the background there. Just very interesting. So that's one of the two Marvel books I have up there, and the other one I've showcased a long time ago. This is Marvel Preview Presents. I think it's number 4. Yeah. It's first appearance of Star-Lord, and this book here, I love stamps. They need to be on all my books. This book here I got at a flea market. I think it was $5 Canadian, and this is before Guardians of the Galaxy movie even got announced, like years before. So person didn't know what they had at the time, and for the most part it's in pretty good condition. Everything's attached, but the cover here, you can see there's a lot of little nicks in it. The cover's just barely hanging on it, so it's still attached. Everything else is good. The book presents beautifully. It's just the cover's just hanging on there, but that's the first appearance of Star-Lord, and it's a really cool story as well. My next two books are from Warren Publishing, and one of them I talked about in my undervalued comic books. This one here is the magazine 1984. You may start to realize I have a lot of magazines sitting up there. So this is 1984. This was this was released in the 70s. This is Warren Magazine's attempt to fight Heavy Metal magazine. So they had done a lot of the horror-based stuff, but with heavy metal and the science fiction edge. 1984 was kind of their jump into that foray, and eventually when it got up to 1984, the book changed titles to 1994. Yeah, this is the first issue of that series. Really awesome artwork, awesome storylines inside of it. Just fun little magazine with lots of stuff going on. It's from June of 78, there we go. And also on the Warren train. Again, you know I love horror, and I love Frank Frazetta, and this is Eerie number 5. So this is a Frank Frazetta painting, and I adore this cover. It is just so ominous. It's classic Frazetta, of course, but just this idea of this dinosaur just kind of fading in from around the corner. I've always loved this cover. This is probably my favorite cover of the series that he did. Obviously, there's some more notable covers that he has done, but this one is my favorite of the series. I also grew up, as most boys did, I guess, grew up loving dinosaurs. I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was growing up. So this cover always struck me as something that was really cool. And the Eerie series, again, this whole series came out because of the Comics Code of Authority. Because a lot of the artists and independent publishers couldn't have their workers create stories that were horror-based anymore due to the comics code. Warren was like, hey, we can make magazines and there's no code for that, so that's where books like this really started to shine, and a lot of the artists, like Frazetta was working with EC and other publishers at the time, and he went full magazine after this because he could express himself a lot more, and Frazetta amongst many other artists. So Eerie #5, really awesome book in my collection. And these last two books, actually, in case you didn't know, I'm Canadian, and along with, you know, the cartoon series of X-Men, we had Batman in the 90s. One thing that Canada really had that not many other, well, I don't think they even played in the States, correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, was TinTin. And I grew up with TinTin. I would borrow books from the library of TinTin, and now that I have a child, I want them to watch and read some TinTin, but of course I know the lens of which TinTin was done back in the day, because these are books or stories from the 50s and 60s now coming into fruition. Obviously times have changed dramatically, so I always enjoyed TinTin through a lens of a historical lens, and so I have a couple TinTin books that I have always thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm very excited to read them to my child when they are able to. So I have TinTin in the Land of Black Gold, and I also have TinTin and the Red Sea Sharks up there. And TinTin adventure stories are always a blast to read. Again, the historical lens of it all, there's just so much to say about Hergé and what he did for not just obviously this comic book medium, but for getting historical accuracies, some of the racist stuff aside. It was there's such timepieces, I guess is what I'm trying to get to. And as somebody who enjoys history, somebody who enjoys comic books, somebody who enjoys storytelling through the comic book medium, enjoys good artwork, TinTin epitomizes all the great things that comic books, graphic novels, magazines are about, especially with capturing a young person's imagination and heart. And again, obviously looking through this now as an adult with a critical lens, there are a lot of wrongs that were in these stories, but they're just so cool. And so I'm most excited for reading Red Sea Sharks here to my child, and I just I can't wait to get through these stories with them. So those are all the books that I have sitting above me. Now you can relax and breathe easy that you now know what is sitting above my head there. So you'll see that I actually did. They're all gone. The shelf's completely empty. So if you like what you see, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.